today is just one of those days. Whoa, I think we're going to do no lights. Wow, that's too bright. Try to keep the light out of my eyes. I want to wear that hat so it's dark. Stare at that light. Okay. All right, that'll work for now. Okay. Thank you, Father. Preparedness only. You know, you sent Shiloh. You sent the flesh to redeem the bride. And so it's supposed to be a struggle. It's not supposed to be easy. We're not supposed to strike back. Here to test us. This is a test of our faith, test of our will. Well, test of your will. It's either going to be our will or your will, right? So self-will. So again, we'll always give thanks to ministry, to the Most High, to Father, and to Christ the Hamashiach for sacrificing his flesh so that we're not under a covenant of flesh. We're under the laws of flesh, and that's a huge thing. It's a huge, under this 490, you know, we're not to seek vengeance again, and my heart is just being torn apart, knowing that, you know, we are, full-blown war, and I just want people to be prepared. All right, in the Pacific Northwest, thanks for coming out here. So, you know, it just, people don't ask for these wars. Most of the people of the masses don't ask for these governments to be going into other countries and, you know, dropping democracy bombs. So it weighs heavy on my heart. You know, I know that we're not supposed to be, we've got our own problems within our own country, and we're out policing the world right now. So you can't help people, and I'm not trying to change the world. I already did that. I already did my tour service, got the discharge, the honorable discharge. So it's hard not to serve, and that's what the flesh wants to do, and that's what the Spirit wants to do. So I know He's guiding me, and I'm thankful that I have that in life, and I do have this this ministry, and, you know, people that are preparing their afterlife. You know, that's the most important preparedness that I can tell you that I think about more than anything, is preparing for after I leave this flesh and go back to my higher, you know, my higher self without flesh that doesn't want to sin. Well, supposedly because they can't have nuclear weapons, but we can nuke them. Or Iran, or Israel can have nukes. Russia can have nukes. China can have nukes. Pakistan can have nukes. Why can't Iran have nukes? We have people who come in here from Iran that are good people that say they don't want death to America. I want death to America because I hate this country. I hate what we do. Not the people. I'm tired of this system policing everybody. We need to stop going out and dropping all these, you know, bombs outside of this new covenant. He says, let vengeance be mine, saith the Lord. So if you're not going to listen to what Christ is telling you, then you're not going to, that's not Christ-like. So I know that's why that's not that Israel that it speaks of in Revelation, because we have the right to protect ourselves under the Fourth Amendment. But why would we need a nuke? Who are we going to nuke? See, that's what I'm saying. You're going outside your border, and see, this is all these men doing this. This is all these men doing these works of darkness, doing the script, making it come to fruition. And that's the way Father wrote it. He knows. He makes this meat suit that we constantly should be tugged by, and our heart should be being rebuked, but it doesn't, because it doesn't call out to the heart. So it's just us to show people the narrow way, but it's not right for us to go outside and our borders. Even the writers of the Constitution, remember Washington, no foreign entanglements. So this once was a blessed nation, and it's long gone. It's a corporation, and It's a war machine, and war doesn't decide who's right, but who's left. And the Washington went out onto the front lines. You're not going to see Trump going anywhere. If anything, what you think he'd be a drone operator? You know, it's getting quite. It's speeding up really fast, is what it is. It's about the rights, of the people, and the right is, remember, no foreign entanglements. What about the people who are dying on the streets of these country? This country, and and we got all this problem in America, but we have 1,000 military bases. I know, I'm a veteran. It's ridiculous how many, all 180 countries have. We're the police state, and we have more people locked in prisons in America than all the other countries combined. We spend more money on our military than all the other countries combined. We consume more resources than all the other. No, it's not coming soon. It's here. For you not to think that World War III is already here, you've never looked at any war that's ever started in America, have you? They don't start with bombs falling in your backyard. They start with tariffs and barbs, but they are for people in Iran. So expect bombs in your backyard. Is that when you're going to get up off your left or right cheek and do something about it? Not you specifically, but world, no, then not till they lose all hope will they do anything. That's this left-right paradigm that they've got going. Red team, blue team, Democrat, Republican. It doesn't, it's not a democracy. It's a corporation. It used to be a constitutional republic, but that's long gone. And so we have to do it. That the people, the masses that live here on the rock, that don't like any of this crap. There's a lot of people in Iran that do not chant death to America or rebuke America. How come we can have nukes, but they can't? That's bullshit. Tell it like it is or leave. World War III has long been here since how long? How many air nations are over there in Ukraine? It was our satellite imagery that sent all those drones into Moscow. So we're involved in hot wars all around. Now they're going to, shut off that strait right there, right? Oh, Hormuz, that's it. You better expect a massive increase of oil prices overnight. I mean, you're talking about how much oil goes right through that, strait. This is all by plan too. So don't act like, that this not these banksters that are not doing this. They do this because war is profitable for them. They sell bullets and band-aids. Don't you remember World War II, Rockefellers, Rothschilds, the advisors, World War II, or excuse me, Vietnam. We haven't won a war since World War II. We're horrible at war. We've lost every war since World War II. So World War is here now. How many nations are involved in Ukraine? How many nations are now involved over in the desert? Now we went physically started blowing up other countries. We're in it. This is war. Wake the fuck up. I mean, are you that ill prepared that you don't see what all the wars are started with tariffs? When 4 + 5 is 9, 4 + 7 is 11, 9/11. Now he's 11, but 4 + 5, he took the office, as the mass murderer in chief. You know what I'm saying? All right, that's not preparedness. You're out of here. Moderators, it's a preparedness only chat. So moderate anybody who's not on conversation and is not talking about preparedness. Goodbye. Don't let the door hit you where the good Lord split you. You're a troll and you don't have any preps. So that's the person you need to worry about. Thanks for coming in. That's who I'd be concerned about. Your governments are going to obviously be a problem, but it's this next door neighbor that doesn't have anything, not a water filter, not any extra food, not an extra flashlight, lighter, batteries, nothing. Just some troll on the internet, some, keyboard warrior, almost like a drone operator. Pretty much. These are your drone operators. They get these kind of people to operate. They game them, Call of Duty, World of Warcraft, Battlefield. They get them to start killing people on the television screen, lies, and then they go, oh, well, I could do that. Push the button, baby. So next thing you know, yep, they're hiring them over in Ukraine. So they're hiring over there, Jose. Why don't you go over there and be an operator and go kill some more people? Are you an American? You already did with your U.S. tax dollar. No way, Jose. Adios, amigos. Once again, don't let the door hit you or the good Lord split you. That's people you should be super concerned about more than anything, too. I mean, you're not going to change what the governments are doing. These tyrant pigs, you should worry about them. People in government. kegs. He said, don't cast your pearls before swine. So he stood up against the law, and most people don't know Christ. They don't know the Hamashiach. So I'd get yourself more spiritually prepared before anything, so you can have a good mindset, and then you'll have some, not be anxious, because you'll know that all things are created after the Father, and thy kingdom come. So that's afterlife, and thy will be done. That's his will. So agape is his will. 2 John 6. I'm a veteran. It says to walk and follow his commandments. So I'm a soldier of God. I rebuke my tourist service and rebuke anybody who's serving in the military. You know, if we want to guard our borders, that's one thing, but to go outside our country is against this New Testament. It's against this new covenant. So that's 100% for sure not Israel that it says in the desert. It's a spiritual Israel. They're spiritual Jews. They're inwardly spiritual Jews. Father doesn't visit the temple anymore. That was all destroyed. He says your body's a temple. It's, inwardly, Christ in you. Father is, the kingdom of heaven is within, not some temple. It was the temple. It was the church. It was the Catholics, the Jews. It was the religious that hung him, not Pontius Pilate. Wasn't? Nope. It was the church that hung him. And then people are out there when he said twice that he does not dwell in temples made by hands, and that your body's a temple, and they still go make all these fake mockeries and block and rock and brick and mortar and barger and rafter. He didn't dwell in houses made by hands. He said that. So they're all the synagogues of Satan. Same thing. Satan means the adversary. The same thing. He wanted them. Remember, they had a place of study. They gave them the synagogues. They had the rabbis who later became the Pharisees, and those who could still speak the Hebrew, or the Sadducees. Remember, they took Hebrew and changed it into Aramaic and now into English. You can't do that. It gets lost in translation. Everybody knows a translator. 99% of what comes out of their face is translation, not transliteration. Transliteration means you don't change anything in the literal definition or the literal text. See, there's a difference between translation and transliteration. They go after a transgender, let me see, they then booby Jesus, the Jesus birthed in the middle of the winter, the sun god, Satan, Mithra, at the time of Rome, their master, if you will, their little g god, their deity, one with three genders, breast, beast, and horns, man, beast, and woman. The transgender Jesus. Haven't you ever heard in the Sex Pistol, let me see your Decima, everybody get their hands up, Jesus? What kind of church is that after, huh? All of them. They go after the other Jesus that Paul spoke of. There's more than one. Two, remember he said, many Christ, many Jesus would come in his Shem, his Agape, his authority, his name. Is anybody, is this turned up? You guys have this on high speed? Is this 2.0, or what are we going here? Let me slow this down a little bit for you. Why would they not? That's what they've been doing, back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. With every war, that's how war works. Oh, you look weak if you don't retaliate. You know, there's all this pumping to this lamestream media, the always broadcasting crap, the ABC and the MSLSD and the Foe or the Fox News or the, they pump their agenda. Remember, like they did during the Cornholio virus? Let me see your bunghole. Or, man, these people sure bent over for that one, didn't they? Take it deep, didn't they? Yeah, the jab, bow to the altar, jab. So why would they not? You know, what do they have to lose at this point? They kind of have to, don't they? Did you get a vote on those bombing those, those 3 locations? Did you get a vote on that? Did you get a vote on that? What about the people who didn't want to be bombed in Iran? What about the people who aren't political? What about the people in America who aren't political, who don't want any of this crap? You don't have to vote to have a voice. Bullshit. I'm a veteran. They can't take your voice away. Congress shall establish no law prohibiting the exercise of free speech, of the press, and of religion. So they can't take your right, the right to peacefully assemble, form well-regulated militias, redress grievances. Seriously? You know what I'm saying? This is ridiculous, guys. This is just absolutely ridiculous. And nope, I don't think you got a vote in it, did you? Did you get a vote in that? So, bunch of crap, man. All we do is war, like I said, and you know, if you don't expect retaliation, why do you think they repealed posse comitatus and now our women are going to be drafted? You know what I'm saying? You know, did you know that happened? They're going to draft the women of America to war, just like they did in Ukraine and kill the whole Ukrainian generation of women are gone. You should expect retaliation, and not just on our frickin' bases over there. Here in America, wake the hell up. They have, it's called a proxy world war. They have other countries that could fire within on us, and don't act like they have ballistic missiles, okay? Yeah, that's what it does. Bullets and Band-Aids, Rockefellers and Rothschilds, J.P. Chase, Morgans, Broadway, Kill Bill, Thumps, Clintons, all these people. Look at all these people in Congress are millionaires because of this crap. So, you know, this is not, we have all these problems in America, but we have a $1 trillion military budget. That's more than all the other militaries combined in the whole world. In the whole world, we spend more money on our military. And we are not prepared to fight a conventional war in America. And they already let them in. And they already let them in. They've been coming in since I grew up right on the border. So most of my friends were Latino and Hispanic. And you know what? Most of them are assimilated for the last 50 years just fine. Now, under these last couple administrations, remember, Obama inherited a wall problem from Warp Speed 45, right? Inherited from 44. No, they were coming in long before. And then he let the Biden in. Remember, he put the Biden in. Then they let Biden in. 46, they had to skip Joe to make 4 plus 5 is 9, 4 plus 7 is 11, President 9/11 if you skip Joe Biden. See, he came and put the Biden in. He said, you knew I was a snake before you let me in. Already let the whole world know what he was. Leviathan, that crooked serpent, decorates his house with Satan, the sun god, Mithra, Apollyon. Satan, his house is decorated with Satan, Apollyon, and he gets voted in twice, like Time Magazine's Man of the Year, twice the 7th king. That is being now revealed as the 8th king under this ritual. Another Antichrist under this Antichrist that's locked in the pit is a spiritual Antichrist, which people don't know. There's 2 kings. Remember he said, Revelation 3:11, I come quickly. Let no one take your crown. Okay? Remember we had our crown virus, like a halo around the sun. Halo. Too many games, man. You see a halo around something, that's a serpent. So that white devil over here that you got on your shoulder is not good. That's evil and evil. That's how stupid the world is right now. Too much leotarded red spandex devil Jesus or whatever one, this transgender one with the horns, you know. Goats, you know, God creates goats. Father is the ram, remember? David declared him the Lamb of God in the flesh that makes Father the Most High. You see why they like their pokey little horns? Trying to be like the shofar. They can't be the final trump. They're not going to be the final Trump. It was Trump, by the way. Their families are related. They both, you mix red and blue, you get what? Purple people eaters, kitty touch, much? Yeah. Can't keep it in your fans, keep it in the family kind of people. These royalties, right? Purple, like with your little crowns that they got here, mocking everybody. Those showed up. And then I started talking about these kings, right? And then all of a sudden, the no kings ritual, and now they got you all wearing crowns. Isn't that hilarious? Revelation 3:11. Revelation blind 11, 9 and 11. 4 plus 5 is 9, 4 plus 7 is 11. If you skip Joe Biden, you really think 81 million people voted for Joe Daddy? Joe Daddy can't keep his nose to himself? Joe Daddy, the island boy? Does anybody want to talk about why Elon Stinky Muskrat said that Donald McScrooge, Mr. Moneybags, Mr. McDuck, Mr. McQuack with 36 felonies, that he went to the island and he's an island boy, and this channel's been telling you that for years now, that he's an EpiPen island boy when you mix, right? when you oxidize epinephrine, right? You get right? What do you get? Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas. Lizards in the bathroom, remember? Anyways, put on your glasses. You'll see what I'm saying. Take off your rose-colored glasses and you might see the real story. Remember? Obey. They're on a whole nother level, guys. They see a whole nother thing, you know. They think God's in the sky. They think it's 2025. They think Jesus has, let me she, they, them boobies. Father doesn't have flesh and Christ didn't have breasts. What the hell's going on here? Hell's not under your feet, by the way, and neither is earth. Heaven's not above your head, too. So you might want to get with the times. It's not 2025. God's not in the sky. Most people go to hell. You can't accept Christ. You can't be saved. There's no such thing as free will. There's no such thing as luck. God doesn't love everybody. God's actually a title. Little g God, which one? The Most High? That's different, right? He said, before Abraham was I am. The God of fire, wrath, war, fee, fine, ritual, sacrifice, blood. I am. Well, you don't know who Father is. They don't know who Christ is. They don't know Jesus. They know Diddy, or they know Diddly, or they don't know Diddly. But they do know Diddy. They know that baby bath oil, but he said have extra oil, and that's not kind of the oil he was talking about. These people are sick. Remember, the eye is the lamp of the body. If the eye is filled with light, then the whole lamp, that's like oil. It's filled with light. If the eye is filled with darkness, then the whole vessel is filled with darkness, like oil and water. Now, those don't mix, do they? You'll know them by their fruit, children of darkness or children of light. You can't believe in heaven. You can't believe in Jesus. You can't believe in God. Believe is not a thought in your head. You don't study anything, so you can't believe in something like you think, because that's not a thought process. It's a verb. Faith is a noun. Belief is a verb. See how now you're already screwing up John 3:16. There was no letter J, so there's no such thing as Jesus. I don't know who the hell these people are. Hell is not a place. Hell is the word bis. Busos or bathos. Write all this stuff down. Abyss, A negates in the Greek. It cancels, like that cancel sign. No knowledge. That's what hell is. Period. Move on. Next question. So you can't believe in Jesus. So heaven is not above your head. It said in the book of Genesis, he created the heavens and earth. In the book of Psalms, it says the heavens declare the glory of God. The firmament declares his handiwork. The firmament is not the heavens. The heavens are the ruling class. That's Father's favorite. Remember Aaron and Levite? He didn't love the Gentiles, so bam. See, he didn't love everybody. He don't love everybody now. Most people go to hell. Straight is the gate. Hados is the word, is to the narrow way. You sit there and you wait until the final trump, shofar, judgments. There's 7 shofars, ram's horns. There's 4 riders of the apocalypse, Revelation. We're seeing the red one right now. We've already seen the rider on the white white horse, the one with the crown, the one who brings the disease and the cure of the disease. Remember, it says they'll be fooled by sorcery. If you'll get your lexicon out, that's pharmakia, like snakes up a pole. Imagine that. Did you get the jab? Did you bow to the altar of Anakin Skywalker? Jabba. Spaceballs, farce, Starlink, or Star Wars. That's what Reagan called it. They're actors. And you're in the script, aren't you? If you're playing the part, who's your master? Can't serve 2 masters. He always declares 2 witnesses, Mammon and the Most High. Jimmy Crack Corn, remember that? Your master's dead to me. Can't serve 2 masters. So remember, he said, be sure no man deceive you. So when you die, you go to the dirt, just like everybody's ever died. There's been no final trump. Shofar, the 7th. 7 is the number of completion. To be mature, to be 7. So this is about rebuking idiocracy, all the religions, Satanists. They're all Satanists. If you're a Christian, you're a Satanist. If you're Catholic, you're a Satanist. That's Catholicism. Crackers and grape juice, that's your wheel worship of your sun god, your gender, 3-gender Jesus, one with breast, or Christ. Christ is a pagan term, taken out of paganism. It means anointed in oil. He was a Hamashiach. He didn't hang on a cross. Nobody ever hung on a cross. He didn't carry a cross. He tells you to carry your cross in the book of Matthew daily. Deny yourself daily. The disciples in Luke, because he always declares 2 witnesses, I said, take up your cross daily and follow after me daily. Do what I did. Follow after me. You know what he did? You probably don't know Christ. There is no such thing as anti-Semitism, because those were fake Jews. 2,600 years ago, they became inwardly spiritual Jews. And I know that with biblical, scriptural, historical, I study cultures, customs, maps, all these things. It's a spiritual Israel. 2,600 years ago, remember? For we wrestle not against flesh and blood. That covenant's over with, remember? It is fulfilled when he hung on a tree, he said. Not on a cross. Nobody was ever hung on a cross. It was a torture machine. You're torturing yourself if you think anybody was carrying crosses. Nobody carried a cross. He warned you about idolatry. That is the Greek word porneia. Okay, get out of here, Dusty. You're out of here. It's not about idolatry and imagery. Look at that, right on time, man. Idolatry, that's the Greek word porneia, not Pornhub. Go pull your chain somewhere else there. Idolatry, latria is to serve, and ido is these thieves that'll steal your crown. We're not supposed to serve dirt. Anything you see of the dirt, we're supposed to serve the Spirit, flesh, Father, the Most High. He said before Abraham was, I am. So, pound sand. Well, let's go back in time. Pound rocks. Let's go further back in time. Pound boulders, you know. Oh, wait, he's the Petra. He said, don't build your house on sinking sand. So he is the rock. Kick rocks. Oh, there we go again. Turning them into gravel. Now pound sand and get out of here. He said, guard his commandments. I'm not going to let you come in here and worry about your little toaster oven. Throwing your toaster in the oven, huh? Why don't you go back to your microwave city, you little towers. Little phallic worship with your Ethernet, little Walmart. Go to Walmart. There you go. Drink your tap water. Did you go to public television school? Did you get stung by the spelling bee? Started spelling curses in cursive? So, is not the infinable worship of Bible idolatry? Yeah, the Bible in the beginning, Brett, was the word. So Bible is the word book. These idiots worship a book. They're idiots. That means, well, if you don't define the word idiot for me, how about that? If you can define the word idiot, you wouldn't be offended now, would you? So let's get back to this. There's no Jews in Israel that it's talking about Israel. There are a select oligos, he said, is his flock, but that's from all flesh under this covenant. He used to have his heavens is the ruling class, not somewhere above your head. So if you think heavens are above your head, you better shut your mouth, and you have the right to remain silent. Anything you say, well, you can kick that can down the road because that's irrelevant. Anything you say and do will be used against you in this chat. Oh, hold your feet to the fire. He had feet of fire, remember, eyes of fire, the voice of many waters. In the beginning, this was all spoken into existence. Breath, air. They put him on a stretcher machine and tortured him, stretched him back so he couldn't breathe. Like George Floyd or Eric Carpenter, which one? Which ritual are you going to play with your little masquerade? Put your little face diaper on. They veiled his face after they hung him from a tree. They staked him, kind of like your va Monster Energy drink. Va. Those are the 3 stakes they put in my love. You don't know anything they did about torture. Remember, Peter hung upside down. John on an X. There you go, standing on an X, didn't you? How about you went to Rapture, Indiana on April 8th and stood on the X? Didn't get raptured, did you? Because there's no such thing as rapture. Not ever written in the scripture one time. No such thing as Jesus. That's never written in text. There was no letter J. Who the hell is Jesus? Once again, hell ain't a place. It's the word knowledge, no knowledge. Heaven's not above your head. Earth's not below your feet. Father didn't create one planet. It's not 2025. You go by some other Jesus. Probably that Sex Pistol, let me see your Decami, transgender Jesus, birth in the middle of the winter. Baby manger, New Year Jesus. Yeah, that one. Yeah, your little bang bang ritual. Hey man, you like steak? I ate carne. No, I don't eat pork. Lamb? Heck yeah, I eat lamb. And venison, they never did a recall on venison. So grow your own food. 10 rabbits, 3 does, and 7 bucks will make as much as a whole cow. Become self-sufficient. Father is 2,600 years ago. Remember, he said the flesh, he said he's going to go back to where his father's house is at. Remember, he destroyed the physical temple. The physical temple used to come visit one day a year behind the veil. One day behind the veil. They put a veil on his face. That's the word apocalypse, to lift the veil. Welcome to Revelation. You're in the book of Revelation right now. I am pastor. I minister this apocalypse daily on this beautiful ministry here we have worldwide, larger than all churches, mega churches, right? Any one of them. We have more numbers here. Hallelujah. North, east, west, and south. You might get where all the four corners where the angels come to this, where you walk this rock. Are you in one of these spinning ball camps? Oh, we won't start talking about shapes in here. Don't you worry about it. We won't do numbers either. One bat. Got bad ears. Oh, look at the little bad ears. You just a kitty girl. You're doing it live. This is Chewie, not Chewbacca. Like Chewbacca had Wookiee with an Ewok, and now we got Bigfoot. Get out of here. You're doing this sensationalism. You sound like Babylon. You got that Babylonian brain waves, new mystery Babylonian waves, like microwaves. Remember, this all spoken into existence. Breath, air, pneumatics, pneumonia. Like a disease, like an upper respiratory infection, like a virus, like a crown or corona. He said, Revelation 3:11, I come quickly, let no one take your crown. Did you bow to the altar of Halo, Jabba, warp speed? I mean, Luke, I am your father. Anakin, Mr. Warp Speed, right? Mr. I am inventing a microscopic line of camels and I am sparing no expense. So, fake Jews during World War II. Those weren't Jews. Time Magazine's Man of the Year, Adolf Hitler, did not get. What was Elon doing that for? Sticky Muskrat, by the way. Dude's a freaking nutbag, isn't he? The People's Champion. Remember, he wore the Baphomet, the transgender Jesus costume, the one that Trump has his house decorated with, Apollyon, the sun god, Satan, Mithra at the time of Rome, February, Lupercalia. Smack that down on the dog, like the dog star, or no, the one with the wolf, remember? Get it? Woof, big bad woof, right? I'm a huff and I'm a puff. There you go. The dragon stick. They got the magic stick, like the broadcast. Oh, wait, no, that's Hollywood. Broadcast means to sow seeds. The enemy came and sowed seeds while you were sleeping. You're not sleeping, are you? You know, spiritually. Those who do works in darkness, those who do works in light, you'll know them by their fruit. Do not judge them by their cover. A lot of people act like they're spiritually and they're Christians and they're religious, but they're the other Jesus that he spoke of. They're the other gospel. They're not wise. They don't go by this meek gospel. Let vengeance be mine. Well, I've been guilty. I'm all done. I'm filthy rags. I'm not deserving of anything. If I could take that word out of my mouth and sew my lips shut and never say it again, I would. I'd do it right now. I don't deserve a thing. So I'm filthy rags. We all fall short of the word. But remember, this spiritual gospel, it became, remember Colossians 2:14 in Paul's writings, once written on tables of stone, the law, it was 10 commandments housed within. Remember, Father had his favorite class, his heavens, his Aaron, the house of Aaron, Levite. Otherwise, get out of here. You're not stoner. Get them out of here. They're Gentiles. They're not part of this, and they're not letting any Christians into the shelters in Israel, right? There's my two witnesses. So think about that, you Christians. And there are a bunch of fake ones too. That's pretty funny. Fronting fake Christians, fake Jews, fake. They're all fake. All religion is a front. All religion is vain. He said he didn't dwell in houses made by hands. It was the church, the temples that hung Christ from a tree, not on a cross. He didn't carry a cross. And they veiled him after they hung him. And when you lift the veil, that is the word apocalypse. Welcome to Revelation. This is it. Whoa, I got to go. No, I'm not out of here yet. We'll stand here for another country minute. What do you do, little girl? You like that? You little tails wagging. You little tails wagging. So, you're such a sweetheart. Did thanks for coming over and visiting. You can get back up there if you want to. This is Chewie, and Chewie is 13 years old, and this is Kevin's little girl. She came over to visit. We haven't seen, she likes me because she knows Kevin listened to me for years. Kevin's been listening to me, so before he even came here, when they showed up, they had heard my voice so many times on the tube that they knew exactly who I was, huh? Yes, they do. No kisses. You no kisses. You're just like Mr. Pants. Tries to give kisses. So, All right, isn't she a cutie patootie? She just the cutest little thing ever. She's Chewy, not Chewy. She's not a Jew. She's a Chew. Chewy, not like Chewbacca, like Chewy had, Wookiee with the Chewbacca had Wookiee with the Ewok, and now we got big feet, foot. Take your foot marching right on out of here. There's no such thing as big feet. Where is that in scripture that it says there's big feet? Where does it say that we live on a planet? Where's a planet? Where does it say the word planet? Somebody put it in the text. Rebuke me with the word. Show me where it says we live on a planet. Where to say planet? Where to say the word God? Yeah, Chewy. Like, you can go back out. You can lay down over there, Chewy. You want to go back over here? Now, she's just going to go explore a little bit around the house here. So, thanks for coming in. We're doing a preparedness only, and we'll continue the preparedness talk. So, Father said well, in the flesh, he said he's going to leave this place and go to where his Father's house is at. I was talking about that physical temple that was destroyed. There is no more physical temple. So where's Father going to, when the physical temple was destroyed in Israel, where only the house of Aaron and Levi could enter, because if you were not from the heavens, from that high priest of Aaron house, you okay, girl? Too much water? Obviously, you were Gentile, and you could not enter into the temple. And therefore, Father didn't love everybody back then. But that physical temple with the prophecy of Christ, the Hamashiach, that destroyed the physical temple, was destroyed by his prophecy. Remember, the armies surrounded. Here we go again, guys. This is the same playing out. They're doing this again, whether you realize it or not. When you see the armies surround, Jerusalem, when Damascus will be turned to ruinous heap, they're doing all of this. They're doing all of this. This is not something that, is by chance. They're doing it by what the scripture says. These people are masters at the scripture. They know scripture better than all these religious people combined. All the religious people combined, they know about this much. They're all vain. There is no religion. There's no temple that walks this rock. He destroyed the physical temple. So if you're hanging out in a temple, you're vain. He called them the synagogues of Satan, and those are the one who hung him. So I would, by record, biblical historical record, I would not be hanging out with anybody who calls himself a religion. And the most vain of them all is Catholicism, and then the one who follows that the closest would be Christians. So I rebuke Christians, and I rebuke Catholics, and I rebuke Mormons. There's no such thing as prophecy. There's not one prophet that walks this rock. He fulfilled all the prophecies, all the rituals. There's no more celebrations that we have to celebrate on any certain day. We don't celebrate anything. As a matter of fact, the worst thing you could do is celebrate oneself or the birth of oneself. And everybody you know celebrates birthdays. So you're not a disciple of Christ if you're not going out and tell people not to celebrate birthdays. We don't celebrate New Year's in the middle of the winter. They're idiot. The shepherds were in the field with the sheep when the Hamashiach was birthed. And that was not in the month of October, November, or December. There's no way in hell that he was the sheep go up because of the rains in Israel. You know nothing about this. And that's why I really encourage people, stop following these vain religions. They're all blasphemy. There's not one of them that walks this rock that's a line. And in the day, he called them all out as the synagogues of Satan. Under this gospel, it's a spiritual Israel. It's a spiritual testament. It's a let vengeance be mine. We are to be meek. If we had more people following this by the word, this world wouldn't be the way it is. But we have most people who do works in darkness. We've all committed, adultery of the word. Stop thinking of it as with something. If you covet another man's wife, he said. And this is about the word, not some physical temple. Or rebuke anybody who thinks this is a physical temple, a physical religion. This is not. He said, once written on tables of stone, the law was housed within the temple, behind the veil that was destroyed. There's no place for Father as light to come visit. And he didn't say he was the light. He said, I am the harizo. I am the hados. I am the aletheia, and I am the separator of the day and the night, the dark and the light. I, Father, am the Most High. I am the light, but I am the separator. I separate these two. The flesh from those who live without flesh, those who live by this covenant. You do not judge them by their cover. You'll know them by their fruit. That's why we're not under this, thou shalt not judge Old Testament physical law. Don't judge them by their cover. They might act like they know about God. They might act like they sit there in a pulpit. They're a wolf and yep, in dog's clothing, acting like they're leading the sheep. Not sheep's clothing. The dog is the shepherd who leads the sheep. And it's the dog who looks like the wolf. They both have a tail, pointy ears, and canine teeth, don't they? I know, I'm a dog. I've always been called dog. I didn't ask for it. That's what I was called since I was young. Trey dog. That's what they call me. Crazy or dog, one or the other. So I didn't know what it meant until I got, in my 40s, I think it was, until Father showed me what it meant. But then I realized, because I knew I wasn't a sheep, because I wouldn't go with the flow. Never been able to go with the flow. When the whole world's going off a cliff and you're the only one going in the other direction, they're going to call you batshit crazy. You know that? Apologize for my cursing. I'm filthy rags. I told you that. So I don't go with the flow. And I know I'm not evil. I serve not just myself. I've sacrificed myself over and over and over. Right now I'm facing the rest of my life going to prison for trying to help my son from going to jail. And now my son is missing. And my daughter. Didn't turn out like I thought. Don't make any plans. Father will crush them for you. That's what he does. So, but again, you'll know them by their fruit. There's two kinds of people on this rock: service to self and service to others. So we're supposed to be charitable with the agape. Go out and show people to the narrow way. If they're in the broad way, show them to the narrow way. Father will take care of it. He is the separator. He is the one who separates the wheat from the chaff. We're not to condemn a man. We are to show them to the narrow way, or woman. There's only one race, the human race, man and woman. So we'll get that real clear in here too. I don't do none of this other sensationalism, races and big feet and aliens, and you sound like too much television. Go. I don't sup with vipers. Go take your little halo worship somewhere else. Eve did not take a bite out of the apple. Stop it. Stop tiptoeing in the tulips here, in the garden, if you will. Garden of Eden, where's that at? Where's heaven at? Where's hell at? Most people got this all wrong. So it's not for me to decide the goat from the sheep. It's not for me to divide. Show them to the narrow way. Father will take care of that. We act like goats. We do. We do things that are unpleasing to the Father. And we work in darkness, and he's the one who rebukes our hearts and shows our wicked hearts. That's all we do, is wickedness. If he didn't call out to our hearts, that's what we become. Look at where we're at now. People think God's in the sky. That's exactly what they thought at the time of Israel, where he divorced his bride. For the same thing, God's in the sky, thinking there were gods in the sky, that the sun was a god, that Jupiter and Kronos was Saturn, and they prayed to Saturn, tried to slow the sun from dying at the equinox. This is what Father doesn't want us to do, and yet we've done it. Perverted the calendar. They've got the calendar, the middle of the winter. They've got people worshiping orgy Jesus, the transgender Jesus, Satan, Baphomet, the one that Ahab married Jezebel. There's no fallen angels or giants in that scripture. The sons of God coming into the traditions of men, women of men, has nothing to do with giants or fallen angels. Nothing. The word Nephilim means bully. Same word as demon. That's the word to distribute fortunes or lies to others. That's what a demon is. You've been a demon. I've been a demon. Your biggest enemy is you. My biggest enemy is me. Idolatry is a reverse of a demon. Distributor fortunes or lies to self. Distributor fortunes or lies to others. Demon, others, self, idolatry. That's what a demon is. The word Nephilim is a bully. It's the same thing. It doesn't have anything to do with giants. Fallen doesn't mean out of the sky. The stars are not gods. Stop spreading this sensationalism. Heavens are the ruling class. The firmament declares his handiworks. Are you telling me that these firmament markers up there are some kind of bodies up there and gods? You're doing the same thing that they did at the time of Rome. So, but what's going on with my holder here? I'm not sure what's going on. Oh, there we go. All right, back to what's going on there. So, stop sensationalizing things. Stop telling me we got big feet running around. If there was ever some kind of alien, we would already had one. Tell me the freaking government's got him in an Area 51. If that's the case, well, then this government, you know? So, stupid. It's ridiculous. It's just, it's all sensationalism. They did the same thing over and over. People want to, giants were real. But where the hell do you come up with big feet and aliens and fallen angels? And it's all, you're perverting the scripture. You're not aligned with what the text says. So this is what this world does. They go round and round on a planet. And it doesn't say that there's one single planet in scripture. Does it ever say the word planet? Plane. They fly over a planet, correct? Plane, ET, phone home. Hello. You can phone a friend and get the hell out of here with your space ball nonsense. Let me come in here and rub on my ball here, my crystal ball, and I'll tell you lies and fortunes. Here we go. Demons. Here, let me rub on my lamp and I'll give you fortunes, wishes, right? Lies. Celtic demon. Genie. No, fairy. Arab demon. Genie. Demon is a distributor of fortunes. Hello? They used to have burnt offerings from the seventh of a man. They would eat his masse, his flesh, and they would drink his blood. Christ's Mass, crackers and grape juice, Satanism, Catholicism, that's Satanism. They'd eat his flesh after a week of marinating him in sex, man and beast and woman. That's Christmas. You're an idiot. You can change the name of it, but it was outlawed in America when they came over here. They came over here fleeing that exact Mass, the sacrament of the Mass, the Feast of the Yule, the Feast of Saturn, the Saturnalia. This is all the same festival of the Yule, of the wheel, of the Big Dipper, going around the North Star. They thought there was a goddess of heaven spinning the Big Dipper around the North Star. See, they're idiots. Catholics, Christians, Lutherans, Mormons, Presbyterians, Methodist, Orthodox Christians, Orthodox Catholics. It's all the same vain religion. Two cheeks to the same hole, two wings to the same dragon, just like Democrat and Republican. No different. Who has killed more people than anybody on this rock? Governments and religion. I rest my case. He said, let vengeance be mine, saith the Lord. We're not to go after anybody. You have the right to protect yourself. He didn't say be weak. He said be meek. There's a difference. You have the right to protect yourself. We already should have thrown this tyrannical government in this corporation America, but it won't happen. We have every right, not only the right under the Declaration of the People, but the duty. If the government becomes tyrannical, there's a reason why the First Amendment comes first. Form well-regulated militias, right? Redress grievances. First ballots, then bullets. Second Amendment comes second. Should have already been done. Donald Trump is an enemy of the state. He's a tyrant. So is Joe Biden. So is George Washington. He was a 33-degree Mason. But at least he outlawed Christmas. And he did say no foreign entanglements. So lock him up. Hillary, too. Remember? He was going to lock her up, put her in prison. Instead, he funneled hundreds of millions of dollars into his bank account for Hillary for prison, along with Alex Jones and the whole crew with their buttons, banners, T-shirts, websites. Hundreds of millions of dollars for Hillary for prison. And she sat 3 bodies away from him at his inaugural dinner. That's how lame Trump supporters are. They'll go down as the most lamest. They're worse than the Biden supporters. You know, they drank they're slamming the Kool-Aid and they were drinking the hopium, or maybe they were slamming the hopium and they're drinking the Kool-Aid with the warp speed. Two cheeks to the same hole. Donald, Barry, Barack, Hillary, Biden, Gates, Trump, Kennedy, Jr. Whatever. They're all DeSantis, Newsom. They're all part of this wings of the same system. And if you support this, I rebuke you. Get out of here. Don't you ever come back here ever again. You can still have a voice. Congress shall establish no law prohibiting the exercise of free speech of the press or religion, the right to peacefully assemble, form well-regulated militias, heavily armed. Notice First Amendment first, Second Amendment comes with. Yep. So it's not going to happen, though. What's going to happen is this country is going to be given over to the dragon. The child will be consumed. Yes, by the beast. That's what's going to happen. They're going to give it to the beast. It says it will give its power and its authority to the dragon, to the beast. So don't expect this country to be what it is for very much longer. it will be the Waltons like World War II, because they're rebranding this 1945 4 plus 5 is 9 ritual that they're doing World War II all over again, because the seventh king was the seventh king of World War II. It had to be somebody we've seen in our lifetime and is being released as a spiritual antichrist. It's already happening. We've already seen the rider of the white horse, the one with, not the one with the scepter, right? The one with the sword. The scepter shall not depart from Judah till Shiloh returns, but the one that brings the disease and the cure of the disease, the first rider of the Revelation, the book of Revelation, the first rider of the Apocalypse. We've already seen that. Now we're seeing the rider on the red horse, the one that will cause men to kill men, and that's what we're seeing. Look at what they're doing. Iran and Israel, Ukraine and Russia. War's not new. There'll be wars, rumors of wars, famine, pestilence, earthquakes in diverse places. This is not the end, but the beginning of sorrows, pain. See, that's why that Revelation 12 sign was shown in the firmament to us, because that was that revelation of John at the island of Patmos, where the dragon, right, would be there to consume the child. That's why they put it on the debt calculator. All the work of this ministry. How long? How long? How long have I been exposing this now? This beast system that they're going to bring to this va, unleashing the beast, the worldwide net, the interweb. There it is in their golden age of wonders. This is what this is about. Man, I wish that thing would stop doing that. Let's stop pointing at the, point you up for a minute. So this is it right here. This is what they're going. This is the 1945 ritual. Stop doing that. I don't know why it's flashing like that. But again, this is the work of the ministry. What the heck is that? It was pointed up here like this. I don't know how that's catching me, because it's pointed straight up, and it's still somehow, that camera still sees me. Okay, but anyways, this is again the work that I've been doing, trying to explain to you guys in detail about this 1945 super debt cycle as well. Remember, all this cycle, we're in that 80-year debt cycle where the reserve currency lasts 80 years. It was 1945, guys, that we took over the reserve currency from the United Kingdom. Scotland, UK, that's where Trump's from at. That's where he's from. What the hell is that picking up? Oh, okay, there we go. Oh, I might be able to figure that out, huh? Oh, look at that. I figured it out, boys. I figured it out. Okay, so you got to just put something over the camera for a minute. So this again is the 1945 ritual that's being played out. Because in 1945, they brought all the nations brought the gold and put it in the vaults of Fort Knox. Hence the banks, the banksters, the supercycle, the debt cycle, the golden age of wonders, where they're going to take this back to a gold standard again. And they're going to do the same ritual again, because that's what this ritual is all about. The ritual is the seventh king. Notice that supercycle is like a crown over the top of America, over the top of the head, like a crown. In the supercycle, in the golden age of wonders of the straw man, will they be separated? Remember, he said, I am the horizo. So they're acting as gods. Remember, I told you it is the governments in the corporation. Well, in this case, fascism, when the governments, combine with the corporation, that's fascism. That's what we have, corporatocracy. Man, I can't see how many people in the room. How many people are in here? I lost my visuals here. We still got sound? Yeah, we should still have sound. So this is the 1945 ritual. If you'll notice to the right hand of the screen, if you follow that yellow brick road, you'll see that it leads to the work camps. You see those work camps over to the right? Put Walmart work camps in the chat for me if you can hear what I'm saying. Walmart work camps. Walmart work camps. We have to start stream over? Uh-oh, maybe we lost the stream. Still going. You can see it. The clock's still ticking. We're live. We're doing it live. Can we get, oh, there we go. Walmart bubble camps. So notice that yellow brick road. If you follow the yellow brick road, because of the wonderful things he does, it leads you to the work camps. They did that during World War II. Notice on the left-hand side of the screen, everything is just peachy keen, sunny, no work camps. A little bit of puffy clouds over there to the left and on the right. Well, that puffy cloud, well, that turns into an arc discharge event. Lightning rods, baby. Remember, I saw lightning. Well, I mean, it's going to happen whether they did this already, guys. They intern American citizens. They were born in America. They were born in America. In America. Their parents were born in Japan during World War II, and now we're in World War III. Okay, and I know Iran's involved, but that's just part of this. It has to be a world war again, brothers and sisters, because this time, again, under this covenant, it has to be all flesh. So that's why you know this is going to be something that's not, that's why everybody stood on the X. Everybody went inside. Everybody flattened the curve. Nobody didn't do their X ritual. Notice on the United Corporation there, you see an X at Rapture, Indiana. Rapture, Indiana. Right there in the middle of that X. Not over towards the left, towards the Pacific Northwest, but over there to the right-hand side. That's Rapture, Indiana. They stood on the X again. They stood on the X again, guys. The second time, people went to Rapture on April 8th and stood on the X. Now remember, I decode is the work of this ministry. This Alice symbol over that Alice symbol took 7 years. It started in the Pacific Northwest. If you look to the left-hand side of the screen, it says Alpha. I am the Alpha. Omega. Now look on the right-hand side of the bubble. You see that like a horse's, well, like a horseshoe, right? The Omega symbol. That's the ending result. So on the Alpha symbol over there, you notice that's where it started. It started in Salem, Oregon. The very first one was the very first top line where it created a path of totality of darkness over the corporation America. And it started in it went through 7 Salems, but it started in Salem or Jerusalem, Oregon. Yes, absolutely. Now you're figuring it out. Good stuff, man, AR-15, good stuff. Now you see why he called it X, because X represents the spike or the stake. Va, va, va. Notice in the middle of the X above the United Corporation, American, right? Well, there's 3 X's within that X. X, X, X. X, X, X. Like you notice there's 3 X's because they didn't complete it on this image, but in Oregon, if you notice those 2 crossed each other, there's 3 X's over the corporation. X, X, X. So it started in Oregon, in Salem, Jerusalem, Oregon, and then it passed the totality of darkness, creating the 3 days of darkness in the first year in 2017 of August. I think it was August 21st, and it crossed 3, right, at the 33rd parallel after coming across 7 Salems. Now I want you to pay attention. The sun started in New York. It crossed the corporation America, but when it got over to Oregon, the sun started going the wrong way, because the sun, like the Big Apple, on the right-hand side of the screen, you notice you get it first like New York because of the Big Apple, the ball drops like New York on New Year's. Well, the time changes first. So the sun travels rises in the east, like towards Florida, Georgia, South Carolina, right, over there, and it sets in the west. That day, the sun came from the east to the west, and then it traveled back to the east again, which is bull. That's not an eclipse. So I'm telling you, this is a fake eclipse. I know so much that I took this particular image because I saw that the sun went diagonally through the sun, right? The moon, and not through a ringing out where it goes east to west, and it makes that wedding ring, because when the two bodies pass over each other, at the first light shines out either to the east or to the west, is known as what is called the wedding ring. This eclipse didn't do that. The moon hit the side of the sun, but then it started at the north, right, east quadrant of the sun, and then traveled to the southwest, making a diagonal eclipse. And I know that's not possible. So I went ahead and I tattooed that on my body. I have that tattooed on my body. I tattooed on my body, well, how long has that been? 2017. So that's been 7 or almost 8 years ago, right? I went ahead and tattooed my body, and everybody told me I was being crazy. And I told everybody I thought that this was potentially the great alien deception, or what they call that deception, because there's no such thing as aliens. Alien is tech or foreign tech, or things that are foreign to you, because you think something's alien because you don't know it. That doesn't mean an alien doesn't possess a space or a body. An alien is a word. The alien is something that's foreign. Just like there's no big feet, there's no such thing as aliens, okay? So I don't do the aliens, because then people are going to tell me fallen angels are aliens, and that's a bunch of nonsense. Nothing comes from the sky. So we'll go back. This eclipse started on the left or the west side of the United Corporation, or the United States, America. It traveled, the path of totality started in Salem, Oregon. And I knew that something was not right, too, because it started declaring national emergency in Oregon. I'm like, what the hell? Well, a lot of these people in Oregon and on the coastline and with this path of totality, it came and they changed the prices of people's hotel rooms. We're price jacking people, charging $75 and all of a sudden charging them $500, and was rebooking their rooms and not allowing people to rent the room unless they paid the higher price. So they called this national emergency. And I knew something wasn't right. So I went ahead and tattooed this image on my body. And if you'll notice, the sun started on the West Coast and traveled the wrong way across the United States or America, passing over 7 Salems, coming out on the 33rd parallel of America. Like Christ was 33 when he passed, like George Washington was a 33-degree Mason. Pretty important number when it comes to scripture. So I knew something wasn't right. I went ahead and held a live stream on 2023 of the second one that you see coming through on the left-hand side of the screen, where it made another X, right? It made the first X, because first it passed through Rapture, Indiana, on the first pass of totality, and 7 Salems, 7 Jerusalems. On the second one, it passed through the first Ark, Texas, and it passed again through Salem, Oregon, through the path of totality. I held it out here, and the sun went the wrong way because, again, and instead of the sun doing a diagonal eclipse, it came from the top to the bottom, like the black hole sun, and it made a complete ring. It didn't ring out to the east or the west. It made a complete halo of a halo sun. The black hole sun that they talk about in the, inside of the, we've heard it talked about in music and television, but in that song that it's talking about, black hole sun, won't you come wash? It's talking about washing away the rain or the age of water, Pisces, into the age of Aquarius. If you notice, again, that Alice symbol or A symbol, it took 7 years. So 10/23 of 2023, it took another path of darkness of totality where it crossed again Oregon, and it came out again through Ark or Texas, okay? Now, they made a huge deal about the last eclipse. That was televised, national emergencies. They declared, you know, all across that path of totality again, where it started again, and it crossed Ark, Texas, and it went across 11 Ninevehs. Now, I'm talking on this channel about the Nineveh sign, the evil and adulterous. You can go look at it. I talked about the fig tree parable. I gave the record that this evil and adulterous generation will look for a sign. The only sign they'll be given is the sign of Nineveh. Well, they'll be spewed out onto the belly of the land, right? Like Jonah, 3 days in darkness, as Christ was 3 days entombed in darkness, so was Nineveh, or excuse me, so was Jonah in the belly of the whale, where he rose out of the ocean and was spewed out onto the land to warn of the coming of the destruction of Nineveh. And that's what this sign is. This is a sign of warning of the coming and destruction of America. This is what this is instilling. This country is not going to be America for too much longer. It already has been broken down from a constitutional republic and turned into a corporation. So if you don't know that, it's okay. There we go. Strange guests are exactly meaning foreign strange. There we go. See, foreign or alien. That's why Elon Musk is the sticky Starlink muskrat. He's going to go to Mars. Thank you, Stoner. You're such an asset to the channel. Thank you so much for all your hard work and using the lexicon and showing these people why and how they do these things. If they'll just use the definition, the truth will set you free. There's no such thing as free will or freedom, but it sure helps. So now you see why Sticky Muskrat changed his Twitter bird, right, into an X, you know. And then remember, so people went and they made a big deal about this April 8th of 2024 solar eclipse, which is a bunch of crap. They sprayed the living piss out of the line where people were standing on the line. I was watching some bloggers like the Real BP Earthwatch. Jesse was saying that, you know, people were getting really sick from getting sprayed that day with their geo. What did I hear that the other day? Man, I got to remember. It's their chemical. Man, so I saw this the other day. I got to let this come to me. Hold on. Their climate. What did he call it? Okay, hold on. I'm going to put some ice in my cup. It was about condensation trails, and it called them like climate change trails or something like that. It was brilliant. I'm like, man, I never heard that before. That is awesome. Oh, heck yeah. We got a great load of ice. Guys, for daisy boys. Wow, I always drop at least one ice cube on that, huh? Alright. I'm gonna go fill up my cup. Oh, what you do, pretty girl? Oh, what you do, pretty girl? You're such a pretty little girl. You're a pretty little baby girl. Hold on. Everybody outside, everybody outside, everybody outside, everybody outside. Go on, Pats. Good boy, Pats. Open this door up and come in half. Not much. I'm gonna get me something to eat here. with some lima beans for breakfast. I don't know what I wanted those for. So, all right, we'll go back over here. Well, let's put on, see if we can get the golden dome going here. The golden dome. Golden age of the golden dome. I can't use that to make that any larger, huh? Darn it. All right, we'll use the other. Mr. Warp Speed's going to build the golden dome. Here we go. We got her flipped upside down. This is the golden dome, baby. Are you ready for the golden dome? Boy, they turned that iron dome into Swiss cheese, didn't they? Turned the old iron dome into Swiss cheese. Warp Speed. there. Hey, look at there. Let's we'll go with some other shots here. I got this drink in my cup. There we go, baby. The old iron dome. Tyler Hansen was the name of the video you were talking about yesterday. Which one was that, Aussie fan? Was that the one with the video with the kids? Oh, it's Tanner saying hi to you. All right, give me a minute. I'm making myself something to. I'm gonna make some mashed potatoes. Oh. I'm really glad that you uploaded this thing. I can put some images on the background now. It's cool. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. guys out there, puppy, you guys stay outside for a minute, guys. Stay outside for a minute. All right. People are bred for this. The hand symbolity says he's in the club. Yeah, definitely. Mr. Warp Speed is in the club. It's a big club and you're not in it. Remember? Like George Carlin said. It's a big club and you're not in it. Oh man, we need to put some more salt on this. Or a little bit. Not a lot, just a little bit. Get back. You guys stay outside. Go back home. Go back home. Turned out to be a nice day out there today. Out there today. Got the door open. All right. All right, here we go. Got the Himalayan pink salts. I made some taters here. Oh, man. Good stuff. Oh, yeah. So, Donald McNugget McTrumpet declares war on the world by tariffing everybody, and now Straits go hot war. So 100% we're involved in a world war. It's hot. It's a hot war. So how long before there's bombs falling in your backyard, America? It never happened in America, right? Couldn't happen here. You think we got some kind of iron dome? Yeah, but that's why they're clinging to life, right? Because they know that this time is coming where the iron will not cleave with the clay. Their time is short, and after the seventh Trump, the final Trump, we don't get our bodies back. We go to Father where he takes all knowledge and he burns this place with fire. 1,000 years ago with water, he does this with fire. Absolutely. I agree with you. They have no plan, not even to help their neighbor out, just to try to help a brother out, not plan for, oh my God, it's the end of the frickin' world as we know it, you know. But, you know, it's possible that this country could be taken over and all the Americans still stay here and be put into slave labor. We're going in this solar minimum. You got 100 degrees in Minnesota, Drake. It was freaking, I had a fire here yesterday, all day. All day. I seen you guys got that heat dome building over the East Coast over there. We got near, you know, I think it got like 39 degrees here in the desert. Kevin posted on his picture, it was 47 degrees in the middle of the day, like heat of the day. we're definitely tipping into this solar minimum. I mean, our sun is in the solar max right now, but as soon as it, he exposes actors are two people on face. Okay, that guy. Okay, what was his name again? Ozzy, because that's a good conversation. Put his name back up again, Ozzy, if you could. You guys see this guy who does on Facebook? He does these actors, singers, movie stars, you know, all these, and he does face comparison. Tyler, okay. Does he have a name on his channel? Does his channel have a name? Or does he just go by his name on his channel? But anyways, you guys go check that guy out on Facebook. I'm not a big Facebook, you know, but I work on the marketplace. That's how I make a lot of, you know, a lot of my sales are off the internet. I've kind of made a living out of it as a lifetime or well, not a life, but a living out of it for 20 years. So, okay, cool. Go check out Tyler Hansen's work. That guy puts out a lot of work. I think he's a family man. You know what I'm saying? I think he quit his job and he started doing this full time, I think. I mean, he still has a life, but he spends a lot of time doing research and putting together, thank you, connection. Appreciate that. And, yeah, we got to be, you know, you got to be careful. Like they do these things sometimes in cycles and you never know what's going to stick sometimes, you know, and they kind of do that. They throw things out. Just for example, connection is in Canada, right? Remember when Trump was in office, there was all this talk that he was going to make Canada the 51st state of America. Remember, he was going to pull out of Ukraine in 48 hours, but where's all the and that's good. That's not a bad thing that they're not talking about it. But why isn't he talking about, you know, making Canada the 51st state of America again? You know, why isn't he talking about making America Greenland again or making Greenland America? You know, why isn't he? You got to be very careful. I know a lot of Trump supporters now have turned and said, look, this guy's a Gemini. He says one thing and he does something completely different. I noticed there's things he does for, you know, the bigger businesses and the corporation and but the small people are getting crushed. That's what I'm saying. He turns face, he tucks tail, and he does the opposite. And it's like this whole thing with going into, like a lot of people said, look, they acted like he didn't know anything about Iran. Like he played stupid. Well, come to find out, you know, people, this is the internet age, guys. They know that Trump's known about this for months, you know, and he went in there like he was flying blind. So I don't care. He's just a puppet on a string. Somebody's pulling his string. He's a bankster, but he's a very, very huge key part of the final Trump. Gemini Janus, that's right. He's the cock, the god with the cock, January. You know, the one with the rooster. And look at what they did. I told you on this platform, go buy eggs, get some chickens before they get too expensive. Start growing your own chickens anyways. Organic eggs are way better, you know. And look at what they did, because they skipped a year and then they did it again. Remember the year before, not the year prior, but the year prior to that, eggs were expensive again. So that's because we came in the month of January. In February, I told they're going to do their dog worship or their wolf worship, because February is Lupercalia. That is Apollyon, the same guy with not the one with the one with the wolf. And that's why I was able to tell you Doge, E-God, Mars, God of War, Trump, you know, and then that's when they came out with the Department of Government Efficiency, right? Look at all the money that was found. Look at all the crime. Did anybody ever go to jail? Did anybody ever go to jail? Did anybody spend a freaking minute in jail? All that money, all that corruption that was going on. Did anybody ever spend a day in jail? They pointed it all out. Oh, we got all this money, but where's it going? You know, it's like the Bob song. He says, you know, and pedos and politicians, the documents come up missing, right? Oh, well, I don't know where the body cam footage went on that. You know, we don't know where the records were. Never, what did Oliver North say? I don't remember. I don't recall, you know, or whatever he's, you know. They lose their mind. All of a sudden they get amnesia, you know, all of a sudden. Like, why did Elon Musk point out that Donald Trump is a file in a pedo, or pedo in a file, right? And he's an island boy, which I've been telling you for years on this channel and showing you all the evidence. How come nobody cares about that? That's probably like one of the most epic things I think I've ever been a witness to. They straight pull WWF, WWE. They switch places because Musk has done that back and forth. People like him, people don't like him. People look. He sits there and he tells the whole world that Trump's he's an island boy, and he's just like Joe. He can't keep his, you know, to himself, and the whole world just squats on it. Nobody cares. There is no Biden supporters. Look, they would be all over that, right? You know, 81 million people voted for Joe Biden. Leave. Leave. Get out of here. But how is it that he could be pointed out by Stinky Muskrat, the e-god, and nothing comes of it? It just blows away in the news. It's nothing. When I was telling you all along that his phone was pinged from his 58-story Nimrod decorated with Satan Tower. Satan's tower was 58 stories. And to the island, to EpiPen Island, and then back to his tower. So that wasn't new news on this ministry. You guys were already told that well in advance. And it's not like I'm sitting there the only one saying it, but I mean, it's blatant. Gotta grab my water here. So once again, he goes straight in to Iran and just bombs the, you know, these 3 sites. And, you know, I'm getting mixed stories, mixed blogs, stuff coming out of Iran, stuff coming out of Israel, stuff coming out of China, stuff coming out of, but it looks like they didn't get those facilities like they thought, you know. And look at Mr. Warp Speed's, you know, blogs. He immediately puts out, finish this all off, right? And outside of Iran airspace, a full payload of bombs was dropped. And notice the bombs is in, that's why I put bombs, you know, in capital letters. I did that earlier, was dropped on the primary sites. And then it calls out for no, all planes are safely on their way home. Congratulations to our great American warriors. There is not another military in the world that could have done this. Now is the time for peace. Those who call out for peace and safety, sudden destruction will come upon those who call out for peace and safety. So he tweets this out after this thing, acting like he went in there. He gets no military intelligence from anybody. They're just on their way back, right? They're just on their way back. and he's already tweeting out. Now, I don't think Donald Trump tweets on this account. I think he has Jared Kushner doing it, or one of his advisors. I don't think he actually, at the real Donald Trump is the one putting these tweets online. You can disagree with me, and that's fine. But I don't think I'm not the only one either that thinks he's not the one sending out these tweets. Like he has time to go on there and send out tweets, but anyways, or X, excuse me. I think it's X now, right? Oh, I gotta let my dogs in. You whiny butts. Watch it. Dad's gonna open this door. Dad's gonna open up the door. Get some of that sunlight in here and some fresh air in here. Yeah. So, do you expect retaliatory charges, retaliatory strikes, retaliatory bombs, retaliatory terror? What do you think is going to happen? If you've watched this take place so far, you see that they do a tit for tat. That's how this works. One fires on it, the other one has to retaliate so they don't look weak. So if they hit the nuclear sites, does that mean that our nuclear sites are going to get hit? Is that what's going to happen? Does that mean that our nuclear sites are going to get hit? WW3, baby. It's here. I mean, I ain't being sensational. How much more obvious can it be? Trump said he's going to build the Golden Dome over America. He's going to build the Golden Dome. Is that what's going to end up looking like? So, we're just gaming it out. We got to be here. We don't get to make the choices of these politicians. They turn that Iron Dome into Swiss cheese, brothers, sisters. The accuracy on that Iron Dome, I was watching some of those missiles were coming in that I saw them leave Iran. Strike, they did, that was shown, on the media. So, and then that he didn't too. Thank you. And that he didn't too. Thank you, Eden. They saying he didn't hit any civilian targets or anything like that over there. This is some kind of precision strike. And I'm not saying that we can't precisionally strike. We do have an Air Force that is of a very, we do the B-2 bombers, right? So, do you expect us to get hit? Canada's part of this, like Stoner Connection's part of this, like Canada or Canadian Prepper says that Canada's just part of the U.S. We kind of all are all lumped in here as the North American, NAFTA and all that, do we, Canada was the first country to go strike Syria, their Air Force. I think I told that to Lion, and he's like, no way. I'm like, yep. Canada has a good Air Force too. I mean, they have planes to go in and they struck Syria. So should we expect retaliatory, blame Canada? No, we're not going to blame Canada. We're going to blame the U.S. We're put the blame where it's at. We're going to blame Donald Trump, all of this for decades, him and his family and the banksters, the Rothschilds and remember John Trump in the 1800s was the one who, that was messing with the millimeter wave technology that John Trump and Tesla was messing with, that could build this millimeter dome, free energy, electrogravitics, anti-gravitics, all this perpetual motion and more of it. He was messing with. John Trump was experimenting and working with millimeter wave technology, and that's what we have today is millimeter. That's what the 5G whiz is. That's a military grade, patent by the United States weapon, military grade. And so this is something that's known. This is something you can go find, the patent on this. What people think is an internet, it has nothing to do with the internet. What do we get here? Hold on 1 second. Give me 1 second. Has somebody responded to something? What is this here? Oh, no. Okay. Hold on 1 second.